Hello YouTube vintage stereo collectors. I'm doing a quick little wrap-up video here of the Kelly and Don KR-101. So 90% of it's been recapped in all the critical areas. There's a couple in the tuner I didn't replace. They're bipolar caps, which are very hard to get and very hard to match. I prefer leave those alone. And this tuner, I gotta say on this unit, you Sansui fans out there are going to be upset with me, but here is a nondescript orphan brand. This tuner is as good as some that I've heard in Sansui receivers, Kenwoods, Yamahas of the same vintage. The FM is rock solid, no drift, very sensitive. Full frequency response, there's no muting circuit in this generation. And it's able to select between very tight stations and maintain the stereo signal. And the sound this is what FM used to sound like when I was a kid back in the late 60s, sitting at my dad's stereo, and it was just had a magical sound to it. It was just something about it. The highs were nice, the bass was there, it was super fidelity in those days compared to other things. Like, I had a tube radio in my bedroom, that kind of stuff, so listening to Dad's tuner and listening to FM stations, sometimes it wasn't the music I wanted to listen to, but boy did they sound good. These are this generation of tuner, so solid state tuners and tube ones too. I think my favorite tube tuner is the Heathkit AJ12, which is a tube stereo tuner. They're fantastic, but they drift, they have a lot of quirks, they pick up noise. But by this time in the early 70s with the solid state ones, they really got them right. And the backlighting on this is incredible too. Stereo indicator works. All the little fuse lamps work. They're original. And here's another thing we could delve into, but I won't go too deep. I've bought some of these LED fuse lamps, the ones that are designed to work on 8 volts AC, which is like what you find in this generation. And I've had some fail already. And this is concerning because it was supposed to be the last lamp you ever put in the unit. So it's a little worrying. I don't know whether it's over voltage, the fact that they're cheaply made, who knows. In a lot of stereos, I've gone back, if I can get them, to use the incandescent bulbs if they're available, if they're common ones. And one thing I noticed, anything that's in a vintage pinball machine or in a vintage Wurlitzer, you know, those jukeboxes, if your stereo takes the same, there's quite a few available and they are being manufactured. But it's something you can't get if it's an unobtainium. Then I use LEDs. So that's kind of changing with time. But all I can say is I had a Sansui 310 on the bench, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, which is a nice mid-powered receiver. And this one, the tuner is better. That's all I can say. It's obviously a Nico tuner, because I've had some early Nico receivers, and they just had this nice, crisp, realistic FM. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening.